What's up guys, Mike here, and I understand what you're thinking right now. I understand what the title says. I understand that you might be having flashbacks to a certain video. I don't know. It might be called Meet Lonzo Ball, Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical. Have you heard of that video? If you haven't, I don't know. There's probably about 1,000 comments down below referencing it. Anyway, regardless, today we are going to be talking about why Luka Doncic could go down as one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. And going even further, why Luka actually has the chance to go down as possibly the greatest player to ever play the game. And even saying those words myself, I understand that statement sounds out there. It sounds crazy. It sounds outlandish. The thing is though, I really believe Luka Doncic is special. So all I'm asking from you is keep an open mind when you watch this video. Let me make my points. Let me say what I have to say. Then if you still want to comment hate at the end, feel free. You've earned that right. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's just jump into this. It is absurd to say that no one will ever be better than Michael Jordan or LeBron James, especially when you consider that both of their resumes for the greatest player of all time do have obvious flaws. Now, of course, I'm not saying that both LeBron and Mike weren't/are incredible players who accomplished incredible things. However, if we look at Jordan, yes, he won 5 MVPs and 6 titles, but he also did not begin his career until he was 21. Did not make his first NBA Finals until he was 27. Retired for the first time after winning 3 straight NBA championships, aka he took 2 years off in his absolute prime. Then retired for the second time after winning both the MVP and championship in 1998. And yes, he also made a comeback and played for the Wizards, but I think we've all agreed to forget those years. And so let's look at LeBron, who, as we all know, is just 3 for 9 in NBA Finals appearances so far. On top of losing 6 NBA championships though, LeBron also has 2 obvious black marks during those championships. As in the 2011 finals, the Heat were a clearly better team, but lost to the Mavericks in the championship as LeBron averaged just 17.8 points, 6.8 assists, and 4 turnovers a game. A clear example of a star player not showing up on the NBA's biggest stage. And while LeBron was the Heat's best player in the 2014 NBA Finals, Miami was still demolished by the Spurs in just 5 games, and many have said that a 22-year-old Kawhi Leonard outplayed LeBron in that series. An argument that is backed up by the fact that Kawhi Leonard was named the NBA Finals MVP largely due to the defense he played on LeBron. So again, I do want to say, both Jordan and LeBron have had incredible NBA careers. They deserve to be the 2 guys we talk about as the greatest players of all time, but the point I'm trying to make is the potential for someone to have a better career is there. And just so you know, right now as things currently stand, Luka has accomplished way more as a 19-year-old than both 19-year-old Jordan and 19-year-old LeBron. The reason for this is the amazing career Luka has already had overseas, and as we jump into that argument, I want to talk about the EuroLeague for a second. Now, the EuroLeague is widely known as the second best professional basketball league in the world by far, but because I know a lot of you don't know a ton about the EuroLeague and just how talented the players are compared to the players in the NCAA, let me tell you about Nick Calathes. Because in his sophomore year for Florida, Nick Calathes averaged 17.2 points, 6.4 assists, and 5.4 rebounds a game. With those stats, he was named first team All-SEC and decided to leave college. But instead of looking to play in the NBA, Calathes decided to play overseas, and here's what happened. Despite the fact that he was 21 and was a former elite college basketball player, Nick struggled hard in the EuroLeague. In his first season, he played in just 14 games and averaged just 3.5 points and 1.7 assists. The next year was more of the same, as in 22 games, he put up only 4.8 points and 1.5 assists. Eventually, Nick would figure it out, but still, this former college basketball star would not be named first team All-EuroLeague until 2018 when he was already 29 years old. So as you can see, the talent in the EuroLeague is miles ahead of the NCAA. It's not even close, which is why it is absolutely insane that as a 19-year-old, Luka Doncic finished the 2018 EuroLeague season as both the MVP and Final Four MVP, and yes, he also led his team to a EuroLeague championship victory. That type of success in the EuroLeague as a teenager is not just rare, it is completely unheard of, even among NBA prospects. I mean, at one point, Ricky Rubio was seen as the best prospect in European history. The most he ever accomplished in the EuroLeague, however, was that as a 20-year-old, he was named the EuroLeague's Rising Star. Luka won that award as an 18-year-old, and he won it again when he was 19 to go along with the EuroLeague MVP. As for guys such as Kristaps Porziņģis and Giannis, neither of them even played in the EuroLeague. Porzingis did play in the same top Spanish league that Luka did. However, Kristaps' team was so bad that they almost got dropped down to Spain's second basketball league after the season, while Giannis actually just straight up played on a team that was in Greece's second league, which is why last season I thought the first pick in the NBA draft should have been a no-brainer. It should have been Luka. Instead, Luka not only slipped to the third pick, but he was also traded to the Mavericks, because while other teams had doubts, Mark Cuban knew what he was looking at. Cuban has said, quote, "He was the top player on our board. It wasn't even close." The logic is, if you think he's a game-changing player for you, a franchise-changing player, you don't care about your next pick. You just want that player. And trust me, Mark Cuban is 100% correct in his assessment of Luka, because as I'm about to prove to you, Luka not only has the chance to become an all-star, everything is set up for him to become even better, to become the best player in the world, a winner of multiple MVPs, and if everything goes just right, there really is a chance that Luka could become the greatest player we have ever seen. Big words, I know, but to show you what I mean, first, let's look at the rookie year Luka is currently having. Because right now, Doncic is averaging 20.2 points, 5 assists, and 6.7 rebounds a game, and these numbers aren't just impressive, they're historic. If Luka's stats stay around this level for the rest of the season, he would become only the third rookie in NBA history to put up at least 20 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds a game. To put that into perspective for you, the only other rookies to put up those numbers are Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson. That is some elite company, but if that doesn't impress you, well, maybe you will be impressed by what other NBA stars have said about him. Let's start off here with the words of his teammate, former MVP and future Hall of Famer Dirk Nowitzki. Because when asked if Luka was already better than him at his age, Dirk replied with, "Oh yeah, I could shoot a little bit, but I never had the court vision, the savviness, and the stuff that he brings to the game. Just the way he already reads the pick and roll like Chris Paul and these guys do. The court vision is already unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I saw for a 19/20-year-old. I think he's going to be great for us for a long time." As for someone who's not his teammate, Steph Curry has said, quote, "He's very talented. He's smart, high IQ guy, obviously. Has a lot of confidence to his game, a lot of swag to his game. Obviously, he's a rookie, but he's found a way to impose his will most nights, and it's going to be good to see him develop in this league and develop into a star." And to finish off here, Lou Williams got straight to the point when he said,
"Yeah, that boy's a star, man. I'm really impressed. That was my first time seeing him live in his show tonight. He's extremely talented. Love the way he competed. Very savvy on the floor, so I'm a big fan."
Now, obviously, these are some big words coming from some big names, and many NBA rookies might feel the pressure to live up to what has been said. In the past, we've seen this type of pressure get into young players' heads, and they hit kind of a rookie wall, but Luka has only gotten better as the season has progressed. To put it simply, he just has it. And what I mean by that is Luka has this indefinable quality about him that separates him from everyone around him. There's a reason why he had already signed a professional basketball contract at the age of 15. There's a reason why he's the best prospect to come out of Europe we've ever seen. The man was not only born to play basketball, he was born to be great, and he was born to lead whatever team he was going to play on. Luka Doncic is the definition of an alpha dog. I mean, just listen to this. Before he had ever stepped foot onto an NBA court, Luka was quoted in an ESPN article saying, "I feel like I want to be the hero of the game. You know, I have missed some important shots before, but you need to learn from this. You need to move on. If you have a nice game or a bad game, you will have 1,000 more games. And for a teenager to have that much confidence and wisdom about failure is impressive. In fact, this quote sounds very similar to a quote from none other than Michael Jordan. As Jordan famously said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times, I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." This mindset in Luka is very real, and we've seen it time and time again in crunch time this season. The perfect example of this came on December 8th of this season. As against the Houston Rockets, Luka struggled early, and with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the Mavericks were down by 8, and Luka himself had shot just 3 for 13 from the field. As we all know, any true star will tell you that when it comes to missing shots or making mistakes, you need to have kind of a self-induced amnesia, and what I mean by that is you need to forget the bad plays you've made and just focus on the moment. That is exactly what Luka did against Houston, as with just under 3 minutes left, Wesley Matthews found him in the corner for an open 3 and he knocked it down. Then on the Mavs' next possession, Luka called for an ISO against Clint Capella, stepped back and drained a 3 in Clint's face to cut the lead to 2. From there, Chris Paul would miss 2 free throws on the other end, and Luka would proceed to bring the ball up and drive to the basket for a game-tying layup. It was obvious he was on fire, and so after James Harden airballed a 3, again, Luka called for an ISO on Clint Capella, and again, he went on to drain an absolutely filthy step back in Capella's face to give the Mavs a lead and the eventual win. Just look at these stretch of plays. The fact that Luka scored 11 points in around 2 minutes during crunch time already was impressive in itself, and when you add the fact that he was struggling big time before he scored these 11 points, to me this shows that indefinable quality that true NBA superstars have. Luka was just born with a clutch gene in his body. It's not like this Rockets game was some kind of fluke. As of right now, if we look at every player in the NBA stats when their team is either up or down by 3 points with 3 minutes left, Luka ranks 4th in the entire NBA in scoring with 3.1 points on 59% shooting. The man is a rookie, and when the game is on the line, the Mavericks already have enough trust in him to put the ball in his hands. The fact that a teenager wants the ball in his hands this much already should tell you everything you need to know about Luka, but still, I want to end this video with one final point, because for whatever reason, it feels like there is some unspoken ceiling that has already been put on Luka Doncic's potential. In my opinion, if an American teenager was already playing at this high of a level, he would be seen as a potential future all-time great. And maybe it's not because he's European. I think that does play a part in this though. Regardless, maybe it's just that Luka's entire career so far is so unique that we don't know what to think. Because if we look back at the careers of former international players such as Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash, we can clearly see that despite their talents, they seriously struggled to adapt to the athleticism and physicality of the NBA in their first few seasons. Dirk shot just 8.2 points per game and shot just 40% in his rookie year as a 20-year-old and was not an all-star until his 4th season. Meanwhile, Steve Nash was even worse, as Nash averaged 3.3 points per game as a 23-year-old rookie and was not an all-star until his 6th season. As for Luka, already his play this year has resulted in him receiving the 2nd most all-star votes in the entire Western Conference behind only LeBron James. And sure, because Dallas is currently not a playoff team at 20 and 23, Luka might not make the all-star team this season, but I would bet a lot of money that at the very least, he's going to make it next year. I'd also bet a lot of money that one day we will be watching as Luka is inducted into the Hall of Fame, and again, if everything goes right, I really do believe that Luka Doncic will be in the discussion as one of the best players that the NBA has ever seen. And there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you also understand that I am not saying Luka Doncic will definitely be the greatest basketball player to ever live. I'm just saying that I believe in this man. I'm just saying that when you look at his career so far, when you look at what he's doing in the NBA, NBA so far, there is some chance. And obviously, passing Michael Jordan, passing LeBron James on the list of greatest players of all time is going to be incredibly hard. But as we all know, when it comes to the NBA, there are very, very few people that have any chance of doing that. And I think Luka Doncic is one of the players that does have a chance. With all that said, if you're new to this channel, I hope you subscribe. We are changing the posting schedule up. We are going to be posting now on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That might be a little confusing because today is Wednesday, but starting next week, we're posting Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Other than that, if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day. And cue that music. And if the music's playing, if you're still here, that hopefully means I've done something right. So here are 2 other videos I think you want to watch. They're on your screen right now. All you have to do is click them to watch. And again, have an awesome day and peace.